So it's after 7 p.m. It's currently 9:30. Gotta love days where I go and I teach at 9:30 and then I get home at 9:30. Um, but I thought that I would try to talk a little bit about what's on my mind, and kind of ties to a class that I took tonight. So a few days ago, I read this article that was trying to figure out how this sort of economy in Star Trek could work, because Star Trek never explains it, obviously, and this sort of idea of like how can we create something like that. But it was this really interesting concept, and I'm sorry if it doesn't make any sense because my brain stops working after 7 pretty much. But it's this idea of a proto-post-scarcity economy. So there's basically like there's scarcity economy and post-scarcity economy, and you usually have like one or the other. So this article was saying, well, what if you created a post-scarcity economy even when you didn't exist in a post-scarcity world? Which is a lot of stuff, and I can't really go into it because my brain doesn't work. But one of the things that I thought was really interesting was that in order to make that work, you'd have to decouple labor from reward, which was this huge concept for me, because I'm like, why? I've never heard anybody say it so blatantly before, and in such a way that's like so simple, because in our society we consider labor and reward to be intrinsically linked. And why do we think that? They're two different concepts. I mean, perhaps it comes from some sort of history, but we aren't our history, we aren't our past. We exist now, and we exist in a society that has created a surplus, and yet we still exist in a scarcity economy because we don't properly, what's the word? Distribute the surplus? No, it's not really quite the word I'm looking for. Maybe you can find the word. So I was just thinking, I've been thinking about that this past like 3 days, this idea of decoupling labor from reward. And can you do that? What kind of a world would that look like? And then this kind of ties into the class I took tonight. So I took a class. One of my classes is sort of like music and writing, and I don't even remember what it's actually called, and I don't really know how to describe it any better than that. But I remember the professor was talking a little bit about, like, he mentioned, like, you know, scarcity-based economy and consumerism, and this idea of how what you write is supposed to be like your own, and it's not part of anything else, and it's not taken from anything else, because that's how, you know, people make money, is being able to sort of claim that something is like their own intellectual property, because we live in a capitalistic society. But that doing that and sort of claiming something as its own individual thing disconnects it from the history behind it, which is this really important history. And I know that during class we're going to go into how you can't really talk about Western music without talking about the African diaspora, which is just incredible to think about. And so there's a point where you can connect those two thoughts, and I think I did in class, but I can't connect them anymore because it's too late at night. My hand is huge in this right now. Wow. So things to think about. Can we decouple labor from reward? What would art look like, and what would authorship look like in that kind of a society? And I think that as far as authorship goes, it could work. And I didn't really realize how this is sort of like a very strange concept, but apparently it is. But I always sort of consider writing, and my writing and writing in general, to be very much a part of other people's work, and things being very connected to other things, and that nothing is really entirely your own. You're just sort of, what you're bringing to it is you're pulling all these different things together in different ways, and you're bringing your own experiences to it, but you're still working off of ideas that exist, that you've come across in some way. And perhaps, to me at least, you know, a nice way of looking at that kind of a world that I think would be possible is to sort of acknowledge the way that everything is sort of interconnected. When I say everything, I mean art is interconnected in this sort of big web of culture, rather than this sort of individual act, which could feed into a society that has decoupled labor from reward, because then art wouldn't be seen as an individual thing, it would be seen as part of the community. So when you participate in art, it would be for the good of the community, because it'd be part of an ongoing culture. Or maybe it's just really late at night, and I can't think straight. Let me know. I'm so sorry this video was like ridiculously late. A lot of crazy stuff has been happening. But I'm currently trying to make cinnamon rolls for the first time. I have no idea if this is going to go well at all, or if I made enough of the cinnamon mixture, considering they didn't give any measurements for it. So I guess we'll see. This is like, I've been making my own bread and stuff, and then there was like some info on like, make cinnamon rolls, but I don't think this is going to work out very well. But I just really want cinnamon rolls, and I haven't actually eaten today, aside from one cookie that was like the last cookie from some cookies that I made last Wednesday. And it's like 1 p.m. right now, so I'm really hungry. Yeah, I don't think I made enough of this mixture. They're like, oh, just make it to taste. Well, yeah, that's helpful. I need actual measurements. I don't know what's going to fit this amount of dough. So I'm 100% confident that these are not going to be the best cinnamon rolls I've ever had. But at this point, I am so hungry, I just don't care. I also don't have any icing. And I should have powdered sugar and I could make icing, but I haven't found the powdered sugar since I moved here, so it might not have made it all the way. It turns out I did actually have some powdered sugar. I managed to find it, and now I'm just making a mess trying to create icing. This is a nightmare. So, in hindsight, I actually have an immersion blender that has a whisk attachment, and I should just make the icing with that. So, tips for myself next time. Make more of the cinnamon mixture. Put more cinnamon in it as well. Thaw the butter out. I'm so bad at remembering to thaw butter out ahead of time. And then use the immersion blender to make icing. So here we are. It's not even 2 p.m. yet, and I am finally going to be eating. And I also wanted to say I got this in the mail yesterday. It's a travel wallet because I really want to go traveling again. So it's really cool. It's pretty, and then you've got like space for cards. This is like a really deep one for tickets, ID, and then so there's currency, tickets, documents, hotel. So they're all pretty big, and then there's like another one behind it. Wait. There we go. Another one behind it. And then there's another one back here too. Place for your pen, passport. Obviously not going to show the whole thing. Place back here too. And then change. I just ate 4 cinnamon rolls, which is probably too many cinnamon rolls, but that's what happens when you're hungry. Saw this, and I don't even drink, but I can't support the English, so I liked the post anyway. Such a funny post. Honestly, scrolling through Tumblr has become such a bad habit at this point, but it's just like how I deal with my anxiety now. This is the greatest post. Oh, that looks nice. And here we have the unexpected leaders of the resistance. And here they are in people form. Not that it's all that warm in here, but it's warm enough in here that my brain has tricked itself into thinking that like outside must be totally fine. But I know that if I go outside, it's going to be freezing, considering the high today is 38. So I really shouldn't go outside and sit on the balcony. But it looks so nice and welcoming. But that's a bad idea. So there's certainly a lot going on in the world right now that's constantly on my mind. And I thought a lot about a lot of things. But I don't know that this is the place to say them or talk about them. I guess in the meantime, especially because of what happened in the area that you guys live in, stay safe. Bye.